Good morning and welcome to MAQ TV as we continue all our interviews leading up to the US Open. Today we are joined by Zaheer Khan, and it's not Zaheer Khan, the Indian fast bowler, the former Indian fast bowler, but he bowls them pretty quick as well in his own way. And he is a new addition to our setup at Cricket Council USA. And he comes all the way from Bahrain, which just strengthens our management team at the US Open and at Cricket Council USA because of the fact that, there's a diverse amount of people and type of people coming in from around the world. Mohammed Qureshi, the chairman, has always said that to make CCUSA strong, we need views from people around the world. We need that international flavor. But let me bring in a man and welcome him, the man all the way from Bahrain. He's now a resident in the United States, Zaheer Khan. Good morning, Zaheer. How are you?
Good morning, Vinod. I'm doing pretty well. Start of the weekend. We're really excited for next week. A lot of cricketing fun, cricketing highlights. There'll be action-packed games. And it's a pleasure to be with you this morning.
Thanks a lot for joining us and giving us some of your time. I know you're out there in Orlando at your brother's residence, and you seem so excited this morning. I think you probably want to hit one of the parks. So I'm not going to keep you long, but we have some cricket business to discuss, and we can get right into it. So the US Open, as you alluded to, is just a few days away, and you must be very excited. You've been part of the setup. You're the regional director for South Florida. So this US Open falls right in your backyard. You live just 10 minutes away from the MAQ Cricket Stadium as well. But the US Open will be taking place at the Central Bird Regional Park, and that gets underway from December the 15th. So tell me, Zaheer, what's the excitement level like with just a few days to go?
Well, first of all, I'm really happy to be part of the CCUSA team. Been attending all the meetings. Trust me, a lot goes into it, from the umpiring, recording, venue-wise, organizational things-wise. I've been on the back end as a volunteer, but now that I'm firsthand involved, I do see the effort on putting one of the premier tournaments, or let me backtrack. It is the premier tournament in the U.S., being named U.S. Open. And as you see, it's been the 12th year. It has a good long run, and, really excited to be part of it.
Well, I know the management, they've leaned on you in terms of, guiding with your expertise, you being a finance man. And of course, also a former cricketer, you understand the game, you understand what it takes to set up a major tournament. We're in the 12th year of the tournament, but this year has been a different year. The planning has been different because never in the history of the US Open you would have had to have dealt with what is now the COVID-19 pandemic. I know you've been front and center at those meetings. Bring us up to date. Is the county happy with what CCUSA has been able to put forward in terms of guarantee with protocol leading into this tournament?
Great question. To start things off, 2020 has been all about pandemic. Thousands of people have lost their lives. Situation out there has been grim. With that in mind, one of the priorities for the management of CCUSA was to make sure that the environment, that the players, staff, groundsmen, pretty much everybody involved in the venue is safe and secure, and healthy cricketing events over the week takes place. So with that being said, there were tons of effort, and I would say the management did a phenomenal job in putting together a COVID action plan. In most tournaments that you will see, rules and regulation or tournament laws and articles and stuff. This year, CCUSA has a nice set of rules and that pretty much lay out what the action plan would be, and it's called a COVID action plan, which was heavily routed through people, and it's been shared on the website. So you can literally go on cricketusopen.com, have a copy of it. And it was also shared with all the teams. And we got the approval, or I would say the seal of approval from the Broward County that they agreed with our plan. It's pretty much a booklet that lays out what goes into it. And they did give their recommendations, which we were gladly able to take. And I can go ahead and share with the activities that'll be taking place at the ground, because this US Open is a bit different than in the past.
Well, tell me, as if I'm a spectator, or I know spectators are not allowed, but if I'm a team official coming in or a player coming into the ground, what can I expect? Walk me through from exiting my vehicle to reaching the dugout or even the
Okay.
stand.
Absolutely. Yeah. So once you enter the stadium, you go through the main entrance. You will not be allowed to park right in front of the stadium. People park right out and walk right in. Guess what? That's not happening this year. It's only a limited number of people, camera crew or security would be able to access through that. Cars will be parked on the stadium. You got to walk. You walk in, you will see a security guard at the main gate, plus a checkpoint where one of the staff will have a tech gadget in their hand. They'll make sure that you're a registered player, coach, or a supporting staff. Once they match your inputs to that, because you'll be registering your name, a temperature check will be given. And once you clear that, there are wristbands involved. Every day has a different wristband with the team name and the dates on it. So, we have a better track of how many people are in, how many people are out. And, it's pretty much as of now restricted to players, supporting staff, and their coaches. So once you're out of that, the question comes in about, the security and sanity of the place. Once the team is in, you're through the checkpoint, you made it in, great. Now, you have a game, so two teams will be able to enter. As you've seen in the building, there's no access to the elevator. There's no food allowed within the building. In the stands, even though, because of the popularity of the event and, the staff involved, we did made a slight section on the side where, we'll be restricted to food, but within the building, change rooms, there will be no food allowed. Once the team move out from the changing room, the staff was ready to sanitize the changing room. That's into play. There are about a couple stations right up front and within on the field set up, which will have, sanitizers, gloves, masks in case you forget, because, there are instances either it breaks or you forget. So it'll be readily available. And the other good thing that we did, in discussion with the county was as to the number of players at one time on the side. So each team on the west side and the east side, about 4 teams, 8 teams in total, right? So about 4 and 4 on east and west have designated sections, so if they want to come out or early or practice or, a team meeting could be held in those places. Once the team moves out from their individualized section, it will be sanitized. Staff will be ready to sanitize. We have hired about 5 or 6 security guards per the recommendation of the county that will put in discipline in place because mask is mandatory, because we're making sure that we abide by the county guidelines and the state guidelines. So with that being said, mask is mandatory, and there'll be guards or security guards, putting that discipline into place, get followed. The only time you cannot mask is when you're out in the field or in the nets. So those are the two been agreed on. If you're in the building and the stands, as I said, the sections are designated. So, a lot of when the plans went through it, it was a thorough process in Broward County. I'm glad we got the seal of approval for them. So, that's a little briefing of I just shared with you.
Yes, I think that's excellent. It was very thorough, and anyone wishing to access the stadium, I think will have a better understanding after the way you spoke there this morning. But it's going to be a bit of a strain even for you guys, because the management numbers have already been cut in terms of people cannot access the Fort Lauderdale area as well. Shah Zafar, who is tournament director, would not be there. I myself, who's in charge of media, would not be there because the borders in my country are closed, as well as that in Canada where Shah is. So, it magnifies the role of guys like you all who will be there. I want to wish you all the best, and I want to encourage you to be safe. I know that you're a responsible guy and you will do what you have to do. You know, it's all hands on deck as we look forward to you know, a better year next year, a better tournament, because every year we tend to improve at the US Open. But you know, before we go, I want to talk to you about the general South Florida area. You're now a regional director, so I'm sure that what has been thrust upon you is the responsibility of growing cricket in the South Florida area under the CCUSA umbrella. I know you've been preoccupied with US Open, but have you given thoughts to some of the approaches you would take to improve cricket in South Florida?
Great question, Manoj. Once again, as I said, I mean, I've been pretty heavily involved in the Florida region, you know, from as a player. As I said, I've spent about 8 to 10 years in Central Florida playing cricket, you know, assisting the league with scheduling. As I said, I've been the guy at the back end. It never was the face up front. Then moving to South Florida and, you know, meeting folks like MAQ and a couple other leagues, getting involved, you know, as far as treasury positions or grounds, you know, scheduling wise. And also I've been part, you know, actively playing and cleared my exam on the umpiring side and, you know, been currently umpiring the game too. So, you know, between Central Florida and South Florida, it's been 20 plus years. Time flies. I know, you know, you see some gray or white hairs coming along, but being happy because, you know, I've made some good networking around the area. As I said, the 20 plus years is no joke. You know, have a good setup with the management of the league, coaches, you know, especially with CCUSA setup now that I've been involved in, you know, things have been great. I have a good understanding and, you know, one of my priorities will be pretty much, you know, a hunt for talent because, you know, I think that'll be the focus of me, giving, you know, the management a good number of listings between Central Florida, South Florida, and, you know, whatever my role involvement will be ahead that, you know, that guys, you know, wicket keeper, you know, make sure that, you know, a wicket keeper or bowlers or a batsman, you know, fielding coaches and stuff like that. I mean, I do see some heavy input because from a US Open, there are, you know, coaches moving internationally from here. And, you know, I was able to get a couple of networking going on that side. So I think my biggest priority will be, you know, local talent hunt within Florida.
And that's good. You know, you can always harness the great talent that is there. I want to wish you all the best. And please stay in touch with us at MAQ TV because we will be in touch with you as we lead into this tournament this year. All the best, and thanks for spending your time this morning with us.
Yeah, I can assure you that you and Mr. Shah Zafar will be on our speed dial if needed. Plus, technology-wise, we have done things like you know, Zoom and WhatsApp, and you know, we have used all the means because, as you know, within the COVID, you know, there were restrictions on travel and other things. So I believe we have used the technology to great extent to minimize these, you know, issues that would pop up. And hopefully, you know, I'm really excited about next week and things go well as planned. And, you know, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Vinod.
Well, safe drive back to Fort Lauderdale when the time permits. I know you want to enjoy your weekend there in Orlando. And Zaheer, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you this morning. Take care and God's blessings.
Thank you.
Well, you've heard it there from Zaheer Khan, our regional director and the man who has been thrust into the role of developing cricket in South Florida. But in the interim, in his immediate future, he has to deal with the US Open. Keep viewing MAQ TV as we continue to provide you with all the entertainment and all the information leading up to the US Open. Good morning.